this guy's garage. Like and subscribe.
The city under siege, a threatened democracy, a nationwide insurrection. He further commented that a police service is not contemplated to deal with a city under siege, and as such, there is not necessarily a concrete plan for such a scenario as described. Now, I don't think we have time to review the whole document, but you'll agree the chief does not say yes. He does not say, I'm able to provide adequate and effective police services.
So I wasn't there at that meeting, and I've only read this particular report in preparation for this testimony.
Yeah, so what I want to understand, though, is that this report was provided to your subordinate, and I'm wondering, did alarm bells not start ringing at the ministry?
So I was relying on the information provided to me by Ken Weatherhill.
Okay, and at the same time, by this point, you're aware that February 2nd, former Chief Slowly has stated that he doesn't believe there's a policing solution.
Right.
So your department is getting this report at the same time he's saying that. And I ask again, are alarm bells not ringing?
No, because Ottawa Police Service was getting sufficient and significant support and resources from the OPP.
Sir, you testify that the Police Service Board is in the best place to assess whether there's adequate and effective police services being provided.
Right, and those services were being provided by Ottawa Police Service and the OPP.
We see here that the chief was asked on point if he could, and he didn't answer yes. And we can go to an internal OPB document. Let's bring that up. Chair Dean's speaking notes from this meeting. OPP 0000655. And these are Chair Dean's speaking notes from that. And if we scroll down.
I'm sorry, whose speaking notes are these?
Chair Diane Dean's.
I've never seen this before.
Okay, but these are from the minutes, so I'm just going to go scroll down further. And the chair says, I called the meeting to ask the chief if he was still able to provide adequate and effective policing to residents of the city. The chief confirmed that he could not, which was very troubling to hear. The board requested what additional resources he needed to restore calm and protect residents. So that was what was stated by her and what your staff member reported. And she didn't say no, but she did not say yes. You'll agree?
So that information was not communicated to me. Any concerns about the provision of adequate and effective police services were mitigated by the fact that the OPP was providing significant resources to assist the Ottawa Police Service.
Sir, you testified earlier that those resources were contingent on the existence of an operational plan.
That's not what I testified to. The resources for the provision of public order units to dismantle the occupation were contingent on a fully developed plan to dismantle the occupation. The OPP was providing significant and sufficient resources to address any of those concerns.
Sir, I put to you that what the chief described was that with the state of the occupation, he called it a near siege, a threat to democracy, that with the occupation in place, that he was unable to provide adequate and effective policing. And that's noted in the report that went to your subordinate.
Right, and any risks, as I've testified, any concerns were mitigated by the fact that the commissioner of the OPP was working hand in hand with Chief Slowly and providing significant resources to address those concerns.
They were contingent on the provision of a plan, though.
No, please do not put words in my mouth. The resources to dismantle the occupation were contingent on the operational plan that dealt with that issue. The OPP was providing resources with regards to maintenance and public safety without that plan.
And we looked at text messages earlier that by February 6th, you acknowledged, or it was in the text to you, that there was a lack of a plan to dismantle the operation by Chief Slowly, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now one thing I want to look at, because I'm running out of time, is questions, because we see the board is floundering. The board is asking, we don't know what authorities we have in the event there's not adequate and effective policing. So
there is a Morden report that speaks to that.
And what I'm going to put to you, though, is that there's a provision of the Act, and it's Section 9. And I'm going to suggest to you that that section is what deals with a situation where a police board or a commissioner or a chief determines that he's unable to provide adequate and effective policing. You'll agree?
Yes, Section 9 deals with that issue.
Okay, now what I want to understand, so the board was asking lots of questions of your subordinates, and if we go first to ONT 401111, and if we scroll down a bit, I just wanted to draw this to your attention that it goes to Kenneth Wetherill, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the gentleman that's the Inspector General of
Yes.
Policing. And I just wanted to show you that he notes that these are very good questions. And if we scroll down, we see that they're from the Ottawa Police Services Board, looking for guidance from the Solicitor General.
Right, and that guidance was provided because it clearly states in that email that the Morden report was referenced. Chair Deans had the knowledge, as you indicated just now, that the Ottawa Police Service, according to Chief Slowly, was not providing those services. So then Section 9 would apply. Under that situation, my testimony is that the chair, upon a resolution of the entire board, had the ability to ask the OPP commissioner to come in and give assistance.
I agree with you, but let's go to the answer to these questions. So if we can go to the response.
To make it quick.
Yeah, I will. I'm
getting
getting.
out of town.
If I could just have a bit more time, I think this is an important point.
Yes, but short. Make it
Okay.
to the point.
ONT 00001118. And this is the response that was provided. And I'm going to put to you that nowhere in this document is Section 9 mentioned.
I don't know what this document is, I'm sorry.
This is the response, if you look at the top, and you are going to have to take my word, but it says Q&A to support Ottawa PSB meeting, board roles and responsibilities. And if we look at the list of questions that Mr. Wetherill said were good questions, these are the questions, and these appear to be the responses. They're produced from your department. So if we scroll through, and I am short on time, I'm cognizant, but what we see is that Section 9 is never suggested. And I want to understand, why was that never suggested?
So that would be a question for the Police Service Board advisor. Having said that, it is my expectation that Police Service Board chairs and all members be intimately familiar with their duties and responsibilities in the Police Service Act. They have access to independent legal counsel. They have access to executive directors as well. The advisor cannot be the only source of information that they rely upon.
We started this examination by talking about the duty on the Solicitor General to ensure that the board is providing adequate and effective policing. It was very clear from these questions that the board was having trouble understanding what to do in what we've all described as an unprecedented situation. Why was Section 9 not suggested to the board as an option in light of the fact that the chief could not confirm, as Lindsay Gray stated in her note, the chief did not confirm that he was able to provide adequate and effective services?
So that's a question for Lindsay Gray.
So I put to you that it was never mentioned because Ontario didn't want it to happen.
I reject that assertion completely.
And I put to you that Ontario didn't want the province to publicly take responsibility for the situation in Ottawa.
I reject that assertion completely.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.